Welcome learners. I am Dr. T. Gangaram, lecturer in statistics, PVKN Government College, Chittoor. This is life skill course, elementary statistics. The present lecture is graphical presentation of data, bar diagram, pie diagram, histogram and frequency polygon and frequency curve. The learning objective of this lecture is to become familiar with diagrammatic and graphical presentation of data, to draw suitable diagrams for given data, to understand the concepts bar diagram, simple bar diagram, multiple bar diagram, subdivided bar diagram, percentage bar diagram, pie diagram and graphical presentation like histogram, frequency polygon, frequency curve and ogive curves. Let us introduce the concept of diagrammatic representation. One of the more convincing and appealing ways in which statistical results may be presented is through diagrams and graphs. Just one diagram is enough to represent a given data more efficiently than 1,000 words. Just looking at a diagram, one can understand the content of the concept. Most of the people attracted by diagrams. Technical knowledge of education is not necessary to understand diagrams. Illiterates also understand the data by viewing diagrams. Diagrams save time and effort in understanding the content. Diagrams give a lasting impression. By viewing a diagram, we can remember the content for a long time. The significance of diagrams and graphs are: a diagram is a visual form of presentation of statistical data, highlighting their basic facts and relationships. If we draw diagrams on the basis of the data collected, they will be easily understood and appreciated by all. They are attractive and impressive. They make data simple and intelligible. They make comparison possible. By drawing a diagram, we can compare in the same plane, we can compare the consumption patterns, production patterns, like that. We can easily compare the two different data to different time periods, to different factories. We can compare by using diagrams. Diagrams have universal utility. If we make a diagram, it will be useful for all geographical areas. It is used worldwide. They give more information. They have a great memorizing effect. The rules for constructing a diagram are: a diagram should be neatly drawn and attractive. The measurement of geometrical figures used in diagrams should be accurate and proportional. The size of the diagram should match the size of the paper. Every diagram must have a suitable short heading. The scale should be mentioned in the diagram. With the scale only, we can understand the concepts, we can understand the figures easily. Diagram should be neatly as well as accurately drawn with the help of drawing instruments. By using the drawing instruments only, we can get neat and attractive pictures. Just by drawing with freehand curve does not give diagrams attractive. Index must be given for identification so that the reader can easily make out of the meaning of the diagram. Footnote must be given at the bottom of the diagram. These are the types of diagrams: one-dimensional diagram, two-dimensional, three-dimensional diagrams, pictograms and cartograms. These are shown by generalists, and cartograms Also in publication fellows use these pictograms and cartograms. Let us look at the one-dimensional diagram, line diagram, simple bar diagram, multiple bar diagram, subdivided bar diagram and percentage bar diagram. These are the one-dimensional diagrams. In one-dimensional diagram, the only one dimension is measured, height is used and the width is not considered in one-dimensional diagrams. These are line diagram, bar diagram, multiple bar diagram, subdivided bar diagram and percentage bar diagram. A line diagram is used in the case where there are many items to be shown and there is not much of difference in their values. Such diagram is prepared by drawing a vertical line for each item according to the scale. The distance between lines is kept uniform. The line diagram makes comparison easy, but it is less attractive. Look here, this is line diagram. The number of children is taken in the x-axis and the frequency of children is taken in the y-axis. This is line diagram. One children for 14 families, 2 children for 10 families, 3 children for 8 families, like that. This is line diagram. Now is simple bar diagram. Simple bar diagram can be drawn either on horizontal or vertical base. Bars must be uniform width and intervening space between bars must be equal. While constructing a simple bar diagram, the scale is determined on the basis of the highest value in the series. To make the diagram attractive, the bars can be colored. Bar diagrams are used in business and economics. This is simple bar diagram. However, an important limitation of such diagrams is that they can present only one classification or one category of data. For example, while presenting the population for last 5 decades, one can only depict the total population in the simple bar diagram and not its sex-wise distribution. Look here, represent the following data by a bar diagram. Year 1991, production 45 tons, 92 40 tons, 93 42 tons, 94 55 tons, 95 50 tons. Look here, in 1991 the production we can represent in the form of simple bar diagram. Next is multiple bar diagram. Multiple bar diagram is used for comparing 2 or more sets of statistical data. Bars are constructed side by side to represent the set of values for comparison. In order to distinguish bars, they may be either differently colored or there should be different types of crossings or dottings. An index is also prepared to identify the meaning of different colors or dottings. Draw a multiple bar diagram for the following data. Year 1998, 99, 2000, 2001. Profit before tax in lakhs of rupees, 195 lakhs before tax, 80 lakhs after tax. The tax collection is decreased after increasing the tax. So, represent the data through a multiple bar diagram. Here we have the 2 values for 1 year, before and after. So, in 1998, before tax, this is the profit. After tax, this is the profit. Profit after tax, profit before tax. We are indicating the markings. Here This is the lines is the marking. Blank is after tax, after increasing the tax. Here in 1999 there is 200 lakhs after increasing 87 lakhs. In 2000 165 before tax, after tax it is 45, like that. This is multiple bar diagram. Subdivided bar diagram. In a subdivided bar diagram, the bar is subdivided into various parts in proportion to the values given in the data, and the whole bar represents the total. Such diagrams are also called component bar diagrams. The another name of subdivided bar diagram is component bar diagram. Here in the same diagram we are marking the components differently. The subdivisions are distinguished by different colors or crossings or dottings. The main defect of such a diagram is that all the parts do not have a common base to enable one to compare accurately the various components of the data. The components are in different forms. We cannot immediately compare the components. Represent the following data by a subdivided bar diagram. Expenditure items: food, clothing, education, house rent, miscellaneous. Family A, family B. Monthly expenditure for 2 families they are taken. Food is 75 units. This is in rupees. In rupees 75. Clothing 20. Education 15. This is for family A. This is for family B. Look here. This is monthly expenditure taken in y-axis. Families in x-axis. Expenditure item for family A we have shown 75 for food. Similarly, for family B, 95 for food. We are subdivided various expenditure items for family A here. This is food, clothing, blank. This is for education. This is house rent, and the remaining last one is miscellaneous. Similarly, for family B also. This is called subdivided bar diagram. The total expenditure is subdivided to 5 components here. Next one is percentage bar diagram. The components are not the actual values but percentages of the whole in this percentage bar diagram. Whereas in subdivided bar diagram, the components are the actual values. In percentage bar diagram, we convert the item values or components values into the percentage to the whole of items. The main difference between subdivided bar diagram and percentage bar diagram is that the former, the bars are different heights since their totals may be different, whereas in the latter the bars are equal height since each bar represent 100. Whereas in the previous example, the expenditure for family A and family B are different, but here the size, the length of bars for both families are equal, 100. We convert each and every component into percentages. In this case, the data having subdivision, percentage bar diagram will more appealing than subdivided bar diagram. The length of the bars in percentage bar diagram is 100 always. This is the example of percentage bar diagram. Represent the following data by a percentage bar diagram. Here, particular selling price, particulars. This is particulars, selling price, quantity sold, wages, material, miscellaneous. This is the 5 components, the particulars of 5 components. We have factory A and factory B here. We need to convert the component items into percentages. For factory A, selling price 400, quantity sold 240, wages 3500, like that. These are the details, particulars of factory A, and these are the particulars of factory B. We need to add the all particulars for factory A and factory B first. The percentage The conversion of items into percentage is item divided by total of items into 100 gives us the percentage of a particular item. Here for selling price 400 by 7640 into 100 gives us 5%. This is 240 by 7640 into 100 gives us 3%. So in the total of all items, the percentage of selling price is 5% here, quantity sold is 3% here, wages is 46% here. Similarly, for factory B also, we can easily compare. The wages in factory A is more than factory B. Okay, like this. This is selling price is 6% in factory B. For getting this 6%, 650 divided by 11645 into 100 gives us 6%. Like this, we need to convert the particulars or components into percentages in percentage bar diagram. This is the subdivided percentage bar diagram for factory A and factory B. These are the percentages. We can easily compare. This is dark is selling price, quantity sold is blank place. This is miscellaneous materials. Like this, we can subdivide the percentages, subdivided the components and draw a percentage bar diagram. Next one is pie diagram. In this diagram, both the total and the components parts or sectors can be shown. The area of the circle is proportional to the square of its radius. While making comparisons, pie diagrams should be used on the percentage basis and not on the absolute basis. Here in pie diagram, the conversion is converted into 360 degrees. We convert the components or sectors into degree of sectors. We convert them into the degrees. Draw a pie diagram for the following data of sugar in quintals of various countries. Country A, country Cuba 62 quintals, Australia 47 quintals, India 35 quintals, Japan 16 quintals, Egypt 6 quintals. This is production of sugar. Let us draw a pie diagram for this data. Look here, this is we need to convert this items into degrees. 62 by total is 166 quintals, 62 by 166 into 360 gives us 134. 47 divided by 166 into 360 gives us 102. Like this, we need to convert all the country production values into degrees. This is 134 degrees, 102 degrees, 76 degrees, 35 degrees, 13 degrees, like that. Total is 360 degrees. By using the protractor, we draw a circle and mark the degrees. By keeping the instrument, we separate. The Cuba is in black color. Australia, like this. This is Australia. India, Japan, this is Japan. Egypt is dots is Japan, like this. We need to draw a pie diagram for the given data. Next concept is graphs. A graph is a visual form of presentation of statistical data. A graph is more attractive than a table or a figure. Even a common man can understand the message of data from the graph. Comparisons can be made between two or more phenomena very easily with the help of a graph. We have, these are the types of graphs: histogram, frequency polygon, frequency curve, and less than and more than Wojcik curves. These two are called Wojcik curves. Let us look at the histogram first. Histogram is a bar chart or graph showing the frequency of occurrence of each value of the variable being analyzed. In a histogram, data are plotted as a series of rectangles. Class intervals are shown on x-axis and the corresponding frequencies are shown on y-axis. The height of each rectangle represents the frequency of the class interval. Each rectangle is formed with the other so as to give continuous picture. Such a graph is also called as staircase graph or block diagram. We cannot construct a histogram for distribution with open-end classes. This is one of the disadvantage. It is also quite misleading if the distribution has unequal intervals and suitable adjustments in frequencies are to be made. Draw a histogram for the following data. Here these are the wages, daily wages 0 to 50, 50 to 100, 100 to 150, 150 to 200, 200 to 250, 250 to 300. These are the wages, and the wages, the corresponding frequencies are number of workers. In this class interval there are 8 workers. In this class there is 16 workers, like that. This is the histogram for the data. Here we need to take wages or class interval on x-axis and corresponding frequencies on y-axis. 0 to 50 we have 8 workers. 50 to 100 we have 16 workers. This is first bar and this is the next bar, like this. This is like a staircase. This is called histogram. Next graph is frequency polygon. If we make the midpoints of the top horizontal sides of the rectangles in a histogram and join them by a straight line, the figure so formed is called a frequency polygon. Just identifying the midpoints of the histogram and joining them with a straight line gives us with frequency polygon. This is done under the assumption that the frequencies in a class interval are distributed throughout the class. The area of the polygon is equal to the area of the histogram because the area left outside is just equal to the area included in it. Frequency polygon. Example of frequency polygon. Here we have weight in kgs, number of students. Weight is 30 to 35, 4 students. 35 to 40, 7 students. Like that, the maximum is 18 here. 40 to 45 kgs, 18 number of students. 60 to 65, 3 number of students. Take class interval on x-axis and frequency on y-axis. First draw histogram. 30 to 35, 4. 35 to 40, 7. Like that, first we need to draw histogram. 45 to 50, 18. This is the maximum frequency. Just identify the midpoints of the bars of histogram. By using the histogram, we can find mode directly without using calculations. Directly we can identify the mode by using the histogram. The midpoints of the histogram is joined, gives us, this is frequency polygon. This is the example of frequency curve. If the middle point of the upper boundaries of the rectangles of a histogram is corrected by a smooth freehand curve, then the diagram is called frequency curve. This is a little bit drawn smoothly. This is the frequency curve. Here monthly wages are taken in x-axis and the number of families are taken on y-axis. This is frequency curve. Very much useful to decide the shape of a frequency distribution. Next concept is ogives. For a set of observations, we know how to construct a frequency distribution previously. Next is, in some cases we have required the number of observations less than a given value or more than a given value. This is obtained by accumulating or adding the frequencies up to or above the given value or more than a given value. This accumulated frequency is called cumulative frequency. These cumulative frequencies are then listed in a table is called cumulative frequency table. The curve obtained by plotting cumulative frequencies is called a cumulative frequency curve or ogive. We have two types of ogives, less than ogive and greater than, more than ogive. In the less than ogive, we start with the upper limits of the classes and go adding the frequencies. When these frequencies are plotted, we get a rising curve called less than ogive curve. For more than ogive, we need to start with the lower limits and the total frequencies. We subtract the frequency of each classes. When these frequencies are plotted, we get a declining curve. Upper limit less than cumulative frequencies, lower limit more than cumulative frequencies. This is by plotting these points we get two curves. One is less than curve and the other is greater than curve. Draw the ogives for the following data. This is class interval 20 to 30 4, 30 to 40 6, 40 to 50 13, like that. These are the frequencies. First, less than class interval, less than ogive, 0 0, for 20 0, for 30 4, 4 plus 6 10, 10 plus 13 23, like that. We cumulatively adding the frequencies. Total frequency is 110 here. And from starting 110, 110 minus 4, 106, minus 6, 100, like that. This is more for used for more than ogive. This is used for less than ogive. 20, for 30 we have 6, for 30 we have 4, for 40 we have 10, like that. This is less than ogive. Upper class intervals and less than cumulative frequencies gives us less than ogive, and this is greater than ogive. For greater than ogive, for 20 we have 110 here, like that. The intersecting point of less than and greater than ogive, if we draw a straight line to the x-axis, this gives us median. From histogram we can find mode, and from ogive curves we can find median. Let us conclude our lecture. From the present lecture, we learnt that diagrammatic presentation of data, to draw suitable diagrams for the given data, bar diagram, line diagram, pie diagram, graphical representation of data, histogram, frequency polygon, frequency curve, and ogive curves. Thank you.